you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? Where are you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where are you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
All right, let's go. We're here on Super PlayStation Bros. What's going on, everybody? How is it going? Let's get some music popping in the background, hopefully. What are you doing this morning slash afternoon for you, Dorgon?
I'm doing very well, my friend. I am upright, I am healthy. I've had a lovely weekend, spent it with the partner side of the family, so we were off over at her mother and father's place with all the extended family. I don't get where children get that energy from. I really don't. Give me some, please. It would help in many different walks of life. Outside of that, I've been gaming as we always do. There's been a lot more Beat Saber on the go. I've been trying to get my fitness levels up. I don't have a gym membership because I don't have the money for it because I'm a poor man. But that might be changing because I'm now monetized on YouTube personally. Huzzah!
Ooh, congrats. Nice.
So yeah, that's been my last week. Well, you're not even at home though. Like, you are doing this on the road.
On the road of sorts, yes. I'm out and about. I'm in the world. Went down south to visit my in-laws, as we went over. I lost that word before. But yeah, I'm out in Connecticut in the U.S. of A. Typically, I broadcast from Canada, and Dorgon's out in the U.K. We're Commonwealth brothers here, but no, I'm out in the U.S. So Boston Tea Party and all that. There's a rivalry now. But yeah.
It's a lot of wasted tea, that was, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out. We got Cowboy, King of Entertainment Network. What's going on, man? This guy made epic reach, came by, hung out, met out in person. That was very cool to see and hang out with the guy. Completely authentic, down to earth, really chill guy. We chopped it up for a couple hours, ate some food. He met a bunch of my family. He was just a beyond great guest. So absolutely awesome to meet Cowboy in person. You can be sure to check out his channel. He's got the whole breakdown video and stuff. Had a lot of fun.
It's a great video as well, yeah. It was so good watching it. Like, seeing the smile on your two's faces, like just walking up to one another. That was beautiful. It was so good. Didn't realize how short he is though. Like when you went to hug him and he's only coming up to about here on you.
Well, to be fair, I'm like 6 foot plus hair. So
yeah, I get that one. On the same boat, so I get it totally, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it was awesome. I haven't got to do as much gaming as I would like. But Cowboy actually showed me this awesome way to mobile game. Dorgon has a version. It's the Backbone. He was showing me the Xbox version. Just simply folds out, attaches to your phone. You're good to go. Connects that way. Got me a little bit excited for the whole mobile projects coming out the way. But it's like, do you get a whole mobile device, or do you just get, a controller you can smack on the back of your phone, because your phone is such a powerful device as is? It's
one of those, isn't it? It's like, as I've said multiple times, like when that Logitech one came out, and then Razer have done one, and then I think Neo are doing one as well. They tend to be more in the Windows handhelds, but they're all doing these Android-based mobile devices that are costing £300-400 with low-end chips in. It's like, most of us have flagships in our pockets. We've got much better chips in our pockets, and it's going to be cheaper to buy a controller to add onto those mobile chips that we've already got. And they go through a standard upgrade process. Most people are upgrading a phone every 2 to 3 years. So yeah, I get the conundrum. I do see the point sometimes, because they are so dedicated on the gaming side of things. There are benefits to it, but I'm not 100% sure that those benefits do outweigh the drawbacks and the negatives that you get from maybe just using the phone that you already have. But yeah, controllers like the Backbone, controllers like, it's made by Moga, I think, Cowboys one. I've got the actual Xbox controller from them. It's like an official third-party controller that works with everything. Really good controllers, and I've seen his before. It's a great bit of kit. I like the Backbone. I like the Razer Kishi. The Kishi just didn't fit my phone, which is why I ended up with the Backbone. So yeah, difficult way up, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And David Wilson, what up? He's got a good question I'm going to get to before we jump into everything PlayStation going on this week. I want to give a shout out to FCat. I want an Endware refund. He says, FCat, I saw something, you buy like a lifetime subscription to a cloud gaming service. I look forward to hearing your breakdown on this.
It's died.
Where that led you.
That lifetime is over. Endware has died. It's no more.
Did they offer that and then immediately shut down? Oh
Nigh on immediately, yeah. So they've closed the beta. I'm trying to put some optimism on it. I'm tired of being this very critical thinking person who always sees the worst in these options. And granted, that's from like industry experience and what have you, but I'm trying to be optimistic. They're closing the beta down so that they can go into full launch. That's the optimist in me. But the fact that they've closed it and they're refunding partial subscriptions and all this sort of stuff, that feels like a kind of definitive end to it. Yeah. So yeah, another cloud gaming service gone, which sucks, but it ain't PlayStation's cloud gaming service, so hey.
Nope, PlayStation is on the up with its cloud gaming service, so I'm beyond looking forward to that. I want to play that Wreckfest game they got going on. What do they call it? Destruction or something like that? I can't remember.
Destruction All-Stars. It's fun.
Destruction All-Stars.
Stupid and fun, yeah. It's needed.
Wilson asks, oh my God, are you guys live? Yes, we are live. Where are you now? In the Connecticut. Yes, enjoying myself. Have a bit of a day off. There's a lot of social responsibilities I got going on, a lot of social commitments, but Monday I got a bit of a respite. So just what is it even called? A respite? I don't even
respite.
Know. Respite. There we go. The English words here from the Englishman.
I like the language, yeah.
Enjoy my day off, but I will be back in Canada hopefully Thursday, and then back off on Friday, crazy enough. But I'll be around on Monday. It's a crazy 2 weeks, but summer's coming to an end, and you got to make the most of it, right?
Yes, you wholeheartedly do. Like, we've had our 3 days of summer over this last weekend. I can see the black clouds rolling in now. So yeah, I'm glad I made the most of it.
Yeah. Cowboy says he's only 5'5", but Dorgon would love to meet you as well.
Hey, Cowboy, we know your father lives an hour away from me. Whenever you're over visiting family, let me know. I will come see you. I can get a train down there in 30 minutes.
We got, why are so many content creators meeting up all of a sudden? Crazy. I know. Well, yeah, you said if you're ever in America, give me a shout, and on the East Coast, and that's what I did, and we made it happen. So that's awesome. And, you know, if I'm ever in the UK, you know, I'm giving tons of people shout outs as well. I'd probably spend half the vacation traveling around seeing people. So, but
I think you overestimate how big this place is. You'd see us all in a day.
Really? Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, you're on an island, but it's got a city. It's got a main city with like at least 1 million people, I'd assume. don't even know the
There's
population.
nearly 1 million in my city, and we are the
Yeah.
impoverished backwoods of nowhere. So yeah, we've got 68
Right.
million people around the country. Rock is about
60
3
million
hours
on the
away.
UK.
Yeah. Rock's about 3 hours away from me. He's down on the southwest coast in the most gorgeous part of
7
the
million.
British Isles. Myself, Wibble, Massively, Happy Ninja Rob and stuff, we're in the Midlands. So we're
Yeah, you
smack
guys
bang
all
in the
got
middle of the map.
together for a podcast. I remember that.
We did, yeah. So it's easier if you come up here for the people up this way. Wilson's could easily get down here. I know Eddie is next town over from me. He lives very close. I can get to him in 15 minutes. So yeah, we could have a massive Midlands meetup if you wanted.
Awesome. But this is a great question. I don't know if you can shed some light on this, but I would assume that our phones are operating at a much higher level than these handheld specs due to the cost of these devices as is.
It depends on the handheld that you're talking about. If you're talking about something like the Steam Deck or the Asus ROG, they're very different things. They're running PC games, which we can do on Android, for example. There is a Windows emulator that will run PC games. It will run Red Dead Redemption better on a Windows system emulated on Android than it will run on PlayStation 4 or on Switch at the moment. So there's ways around it. There's ways to do things. You can run Switch games at 60 frames per second on Android. I do that semi-regularly. I'll buy the game, I'll play it on Switch, and then I'll replay it on Android. Just dump the ROM file and play it on Android so I can play it in a better version, so to say. They are incredibly powerful if you've got a flagship device. The thing you have to realize with mobiles, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, your ability to do any of this sort of stuff is very locked down. The freedom on the Apple ecosystem is basically non-existent. So you need to be looking at Android to be able to do any of this high-level, high-end gaming. And if you're doing that, there is such a variety out there in terms of cost, in terms of power to cost ratio, in terms of form factors. The likes of Cozy Mountain Gaming, who's just popped in chat, he's got a folding phone. Cowboy's got a folding phone, so they can get this massive, big screen gaming experience, where I've got the beautiful slab because I wanted all of the additional camera systems and what have you. They can be on par. You have to do a bit of fiddling. I easily operate on par as any of the other content creators out there in terms of my gaming, editing, and content output ability, as you see on a regular basis, without the use of a PC. The Nerd Pod has the Z Fold 4. So yeah, there's plenty of big phones out there. There's plenty of little phones out there. As long as you've got a powerful top-end chip, so that top-end Exynos from Samsung, that top-end Tensor from Google, the top-end Snapdragon for most of the rest of Android, you are sitting pretty and able to game pretty darn well. And a lot of the native games as well are phenomenal. Call of Duty Mobile, I prefer it to the actual Call of Duty on consoles at the moment. I much prefer Bright Memory on mobile because it's free. I don't have to pay £15 to be able to play the same game. And it runs flawlessly. Among Us is exactly the same, and that's easy to play without a connected controller as well. You can play that with touch controls. And of course, then you've got things like your cloud gaming and your remote play. I can hook my backbone up and play all of my PlayStation games on my mobile phone. So you can do this on the other gaming handhelds. And I think it depends on what you're trying to compare it to. If you're comparing it to like the Razer, the Logitech G Cloud, and so on and so forth, a top-end phone absolutely destroys them. If you compare it to like the Steam Deck and the ROG, there's a lot more weighing up and pros and cons.
Yeah, I would see that. And I mean, part of that is, the weight of your device. And your phone is going to weigh a lot less than a Steam Deck. It's going to fit better in your pocket. It's going to be easier to transport. But, it's all on your use case. Going to say what up to Ron Slusher, Ron Diggs. Okay, I love when he does that. Because Ron Diggs. All right, that's freaking awesome. Hashtag make plays. What up, Ron Slusher? Thanks for stopping.
I'm waiting for the day he just comes in with, I am Doraron.
Coming soon. You're giving them the ideas.
I need to put the idea out there. You're getting all the good stuff from him. I'm feeling left out here.
I'm in the North Pole if anyone wants to hang out. Of course, Ron Slusher, I'm sure you're chilling with the Santa Claus. Breakdown and Benton possibly on the Thursday show. Ah, yes, FCAT, tell us all about Nware. We got Unitrix. What's going on? Cozy Mountain Gaming and the Nerd Pod. Thanks for stopping on in. The Nerd Pod, that's a new one. Is that Nerds World? Who we got going on here? Or is that somebody else? Hashtag Dora Ron. Well, thanks for stopping on in. Without further ado, let's get into what's popping in PlayStation this week. I have a story that Dorgon provided here. Super interesting stuff. Could we see it? Like, not the IP I would think they would grab to make a movie right away. Wouldn't Crash? Wouldn't Crash Bandicoot? I mean, do they not own Crash?
They don't own Crash. No, Activision own Crash. So any movie rights coming from that IP, it's going to be from the Microsoft Activision Blizzard side, which is a shame because Naughty Dog did the games better. But yeah, it's I don't quite understand why they're going live action with Jak and Daxter for a movie. Like, surely the Ratchet and Clank movie showed that if you do a good CG movie of these characters, use the original voice actors and just have a good script, it'll go well. I really enjoyed the Ratchet and Clank movie. I then enjoyed the game about the movie, about the game, about the movie. Yeah, that one was confusing when they explained it at the start of the game, but I enjoyed all of it, everything they did with that one, and it was much better because for those of us coming into it as fans of the series, we had that brand familiarity, we had the right voices, the right looking characters, and because it was CG, they could do these weird, wild and wonderful things that a lot of times live action can't do, even with the level of CG we have nowadays. And I would think I'd prefer to see the CG version of them in the cinema with their original voice actors rather than the same old terrible acting of both Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, because they're both so samey every time they act. They are just Chris Pratt and Tom Holland. They're not actors, that they are themselves on screen saying they're a different role.
Yeah, it's characters, right? And they play the same characters. Seth Rogen did it in Donkey Kong, right? Where he said, listen, you want me to play Donkey Kong? I'm not going to be some ape. I'm just going to be Seth Rogen, the Donkey Kong. You know, it's how they are these days. Character actors, people who transform themselves for the role, that art style is far and few between these days.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I don't expect everybody to go like Christian Bale type, super buff for Batman, then really skinny, almost anorexic for the Mechanist and so on. But to become the role, to actually be believable as that character, to be different in each role, things like Hugh Jackman do, things like Henry Cavill do, I'd love to see more of that, and I don't get that from these two. I hope this rumor is false, that it's those two who've been cast, but I do want to see a Jak and Daxter movie. I just hope it's CG and not live action.
Well, it all started through a rumor mill, so this is a bit of a rumor. A Twitter user, My Time to Shine, shared the information. We suspect Holland's ambition to give a really weird and dark version of the characters may not be what executives want. So it's like, we're not sure what we're going to see as of yet. This is just sort of what's to possibly come. What are your thoughts on the movie actually happening? Do you think this is going down in that direction?
It would not surprise me. It's one of the easier IPs to translate to the screen, simply because there's such a strong story already there. These characters are so full of life, and it's more family friendly than what else they've done with PlayStation Studios IPs recently. So it's not like The Last of Us where you have to be 18 plus to watch it because of the content in it. It's not like God of War, which is coming to Amazon Prime at some point, where you're going to have to be 18 plus to watch it. They're for more mature audiences. This is a much more family friendly audience, especially if they go for the early Jak and Daxter PS2 stories. I think it's a good move. I just hope they do it as well as they did Ratchet and Clank in 2016.
Wow, I never saw the Ratchet and Clank movie. I assume it would be like a Disney Pixar movie for
Kind
kids,
of,
or was
yeah.
it mature? Yeah,
There's mature
yeah, it was-
moments, but yeah, it's just fun. It looks like the games, which is one of the biggest things because you just feel
Right.
like you're part of it. It was very, very well done. I would highly recommend it if you've enjoyed any of the Ratchet and Clank games at any time, even if you're just new to it with like Rift Apart. Defo go and catch that one. It's such a good movie, thoroughly enjoyable. It's not like blow your socks off, but it's one of those sit down on a Sunday afternoon when you've got nothing else to do and just watch a great bad movie.
Well, look forward to it. What's going on? Ray, the gaming cyborg. Epic hair on a epic man. What's going on, SPG? Thanks for coming on by. Had to pause for a few minutes, but thanks for the info on the flagship versus handheld. Definitely seems impressive, but wherever I've had a flagship, gaming is never an issue. David Wilson. He likes the game on his handheld. Wayo. What's going on with Call of Duty, man? What, are we getting another one already? I feel like the last one just released. We had Modern Warfare 2 like yesterday, and now we have Modern Warfare 3 announced for November 10th.
I'm surprised it's Modern Warfare 3. I did not expect a direct sequel year after year. That's kind of shocked me. Generally, they've got two development teams working on Call of Duty, so you've got Treyarch is one of them, and then the other one, I can't remember what the other team is, and I'm so sorry, team, because you work damn hard. But normally they alternate between them, so it's like we had Modern Warfare Black Ops, Modern Warfare Black Ops, and then they started changing things. Then there was like the World War II, and then something else. But last year we had Modern Warfare 2 the second, and now we're getting Modern Warfare 3 the second. And I'm surprised it was Modern Warfare 3. That's the only big shock for me thus far. But hey, it's the 2023 Call of Duty. It's carrying over all of your save data, all of your weapon and skin unlocks from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3. So that's suddenly a bit more pro-consumer than they have been in previous years, which big thumbs up.
Pro-consumer.
We like to see those positive changes. It's got, is it an open world zombies mode they were talking about?
That's what I was freaking... Okay, so I was like, there's no way I'm going to get into this until I saw this. And now zombies was always like something I gravitated to. Black Ops 3, I had the whole like expansion with all the zombies. It was literally the only game mode I would play for like a certain part of my life. But to have an open world, other squads just in there, I mean, I am beyond curious. The Easter eggs, I mean, are they going to have world bosses? I don't know what they're going to do with this, but I'm like beyond excited.
It's
Wish I could
new.
just buy zombies separate from the entire game, but
yeah, that'd be a good one because that's the only bit really that's got me interested. But if you have the whole game, you're going to dip into all parts of it, aren't you? So you might enjoy a bit of warfare. Hang on, no, what is it? Warzone now and then. You might enjoy a bit of the multiplayer climb now and then. But open world zombies, and it seems like it's all co-op, so you meet up with other squads to beat the zombies. You're not versus them or anything. I like the sounds of that. I hope it's implemented well. And the big thing for me is it's something new in Call of Duty, something we haven't seen for 10 plus years. They've just been iterating and going through the motions for 10 years, and we've suddenly got something new. Yes, it's old in the form that it's zombies, but it's new in the way that they're doing it, and I like that. I hope it works for them.
The origins of Call of Duty Zombies was back in the first World at War, where you unlocked. It's been so long since you unlock game modes without paying by just beating the game. And when that first happened, I was like, whoa, what's happening? All my friends are like, whoa, what's happening? We need to get in this. We need to play. And it was just that silly little level, which had nothing to it, but that just exploded in popularity. Oh, I can't wait. I think I'm definitely going to be on it. But to be honest, I know Modern Warfare goes on sale for 50% off like 2 months after it's released. So I think that's when a good time to jump in will be.
Yeah, it might be a good time to jump in, like you say, when it comes down in price, if that's the only bit that you're interested in.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else that you saw on pre-orders now available? Of course
Of
they are.
course they are. Of course they are. There was nothing else that really struck me. It was shocking that it was Modern Warfare 3. I did like the whole you can carry all of your stuff forward. This whole early access stuff, I hate. It's either sell it as early access so people can start playing immediately, or just a pre-order and everybody starts playing at the same time. They just get added bonuses to play with, sort of thing. Don't give few people 3 days early access because they bought the game a bit earlier.
Yeah.
I did like the carry forward. I did like the zombies. For me, it very much depends how it plays. I haven't really enjoyed a Call of Duty game since the original Modern Warfare 2. So Modern Warfare 2 the first, not Modern Warfare 2 the second from last year. Why they started naming them the same things again, I don't know. I hate that as well.
It's so confusing. Like,
It's so confusing.
just come up with new names. It's not hard.
It shouldn't be hard, but apparently it is.
Or make the game live service. Just have Call of Duty live service and update it and make people pay for the updates. I mean, I don't know.
Put a new campaign in each year, put new zombies modes in, new map packs and stuff. I mean, it's how they became big in the past. It's what people want. They want map packs. They want new modes and such. Like, build them, and people will come.
I just feel like a lot of these games lend themselves to the Destiny 2 business model, where it is just, your campaign evolves every season, new events happen. Like, this game should be falling under that category, with all of the extra game modes they're adding in. But we'll see what happens. They'll probably keep releasing yearly releases, and that'll be what we get.
As long as people buy them, they will keep releasing them. As long as people keep paying the microtransactions for the live service year of that game, they'll keep releasing them. It comes down to us and the way that we play these games as to whether or not it changes. We've fallen right into their trap. And they are living free, living high, like dollars everywhere.
Cowboy says this will be the largest zombie stage ever. Wow, I believe it. Having that open world, having multiple squads in the world.
Yeah. Just from the design of it, what they've said, it would kind of have to be, wouldn't it?
Ooh, DMZ Zombies is taking two popular modes and putting them together. Ooh, that is an interesting concept. Yeah, it basically sounds like that's what they're doing. So good shout
sounds
out
like it's a
there,
bit of Battle Royale zombies, doesn't it?
You kill the other people? Oh, that would
I mean,
be dirty.
they could do that one. They could go the route of you all have to survive. Like, squad's got to be left standing when the storm closes. Like, we don't know what it's going to entail. I don't know how an open world zombies mode would work. How you'd add like an endpoint to it, or how you would add intensity to it. Because if you can find a camping point in zombies, like, I remember sitting in the exact same spot for 3 hours to work through to the highest level of zombies in the past. This is the way zombies players go in Call of Duty. So it's like, you've got to do something to move them through this big open world. Like, it's a battle royale, but it's you versus the world sort of thing. Like, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to see. I still haven't played Modern Warfare 2 campaign, and yet they're bringing out Modern Warfare. That's how I feel, Wilson. I have not beaten the campaign on Modern Warfare 2. I jumped in to play with some friends a couple times, and then I feel like I wasted that purchase. But this open world zombie sounds new and fresh. And if I'm not mistaken, Call of Duty's always been crossplay. Right? They've been crossplay friendly.
It was one of the earliest crossplay titles, yeah. I think it was like Black Ops 2 or 3 had crossplay.
Yeah.
So it was definitely one of the earliest adopters.
This is a great game, Wilson. I see you're into zombies being your favorite COD zombies. Even though it's basic, it's so much fun. Pack-a-punch. Oh my, pack-a-punching weapons, souping them up. I played one of the new ones, and like the pack-a-punch has gone crazy. You can pack-a-punch your gun so many different times. The bullets change. It's a little daunting. So hopefully they take it a step back in this open world, because I feel like they went so far in one direction with this new zombies.
My friend, they are selling cat skins in the Warzone store. I don't think they're bothered about realism.
Miss Phoenix, what's up? Thanks for stopping on by.
Did you see Miss Phoenix's post on Threads over the weekend of her beautiful 20th anniversary PlayStation 4 in that original PlayStation grey?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh my days, what a bit of kit that is. It's beautiful. Like, I've got the controller, I just didn't get the PlayStation because I've got the 500 million one, the translucent blue one. But she was showing that off, and it's like, that's so pretty. I'm not jealous at all.
Oh, there's no threads on computer.
On the PC,
right?
no.
I can't pull it up. But did you see that guy wearing that nice shirt?
I did see that guy on Threads wearing that very nice shirt. What a handsome man he is.
Yeah.
Just so happened to have these beautiful, luscious locks as well.
Nope.
Look at that. I mean, it looks a bit more white there, but still, that is gorgeous.
Oh, it looks super nice. What is that? The PlayStation Slim? No, that's the PS4. 20th anniversary. Wow, 20 years. So that's the color of the original PlayStation 1, though.
Yes.
That's what they did. Yeah. Really.
And it's covered in the X circle, square triangle things as well, all over the body of it.
On the Pro controller.
Yeah.
Because that's everywhere on the Pro controller. Pretty cool.
It's all over the console, the PS5 as well. If you get in really close, they're all over the sheets, all over the plates.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. You have to get really close. Like, you have to get like a macro lens on it or something, but they are there.
A microscope over it?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, they're not on the D-brand plates.
No, that's part of the whole legal issue that D-brand were having for a while.
Wibble Sniff! What's up,
Wibs!
Thanks for stopping on by. And can we take a moment to appreciate everyone's hair today? Yeah, Dorgon, looks like you got a haircut, I will say.
I did. I went in last Wednesday. I went to the local Turkish barbers. And this beautiful Turkish man, he didn't speak much English. But what he did speak, he understood when I called him a magician, because he just took the clippers and the scissors and made me look all like, well, this, because I can't do this. Called him a magician, gave him a good handshake, a nice tip. He was very happy. He wanted to hug me. I've never been hugged by a barber before, and it was a wonderful experience.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's nice to get a fresh cut. I have not known what a fresh cut feels like in a couple years.
You do get it tidied, though. You don't abandon and abuse your hair. You do get it tidied.
Yeah, I mean, this is an everyday commitment. You got a brush, you got a shampoo, you got a conditioner, then you got an after conditioner. I never even knew there was such thing as after conditioner. So.
Oh, it's when you get into the masks and stuff as well. That's when it gets intense.
I never liked the zombies mode, says Cowboy, but maybe this game will get me interested. And I mean, I look forward to hearing more about this open world zombies. Will they do battle royale, or will it be more of a just, open and survive? Are you killing PvP, PvE, or is it just PvE? So a lot of questions to be answered still. My PlayStation baby, says Miss Phoenix. Yeah, pretty cool. Ray says Miss Phoenix is sus. That blue one is gorgeous, though.
Yeah, my translucent blue one, the 500 million. It's a bit special. You can see the disc spinning. You can see the fans powering.
Is it like a UK thing? I don't have any collection.
It was a worldwide one, but there were only 50,000 units.
Wow. Oh, yeah, it showed her like being out of like 1,000 or something, right? Or 10,000.
Yeah, I think it was a similar run. It might have been 25,000 for that run that Miss Phoenix got for the 25th year. The 500 million one, it was when they'd sold 500 million PlayStations across every generation. I've got number 28,200 and something. The video of mine is in a reply to Miss Phoenix's one, to be fair.
I just noticed the Restream bot is promoting the St. Jude's charity. That's from a long time ago. I still got to remove that. Apparently, got to do some homework there.
You're on
really
the
like
road. It's allowed.
Oh my gosh, Phoenix! Oh, the blueberry conditioner. Well, the blueberry conditioner I don't have with me on the road, unfortunately. I'm using this different one. It's not giving me the same bounce, to be honest. I miss the blueberries. Miss those blueberries.
Tell you what I'm
Yeah.
using that I never expected to go back to. Head and Shoulders. Head and
Ooh.
Shoulders is doing an absolute whiz on my hair and my scalp and everything else. And it's doing great for my partner's hair as well. Now, hers is a bit longer than mine at the moment, so she had it cut really short as well, but it's grown back a bit. And it's just really good. Like, keeps your hair silky, keeps it bouncy like you were looking for, keeps your scalp hydrated, smells fantastic, and it's the fancy Head and Shoulders. It's the Hydra X stuff. Highly recommend. We're not sponsored by any of these things, but you know.
Head and
This
Shoulders,
is life.
old classic. Old classic. But hey, if you're looking to save some money, August has got some deals on the PlayStation stores. Some big ones I wanted to point out. Wulong, if you haven't jumped into it now and you're not a fan of getting it on Game Pass, because I believe if you want to try it, you can just get it on Game Pass pretty easily. Dead Island 2 Gold Edition and F1 2023 Standard Edition. These are like the big highlights of games going on sale. And you can see Wulong is 30% off, Dead Island 2 30%, and then F1 is 40%.
40% off F1 is huge. Like, they are big games.
Game. It's always on the top 10 selling list. Don't underestimate these racing games. I know Dismal has got a whole setup in his house. I mean, I'm jealous. I would love that's my barrier to getting into racing games, is having that setup. I would love that kind of immersion in a racing game.
Oh, yeah. But if you do come to the UK, like we were talking about earlier, I am taking you to our local VR arcade where they've got those full race rig setups. Like, it's got G-force motors in, so you feel the kick in your back as you're changing gear and accelerating. You've got fans blowing in your face, VR headset on, proper Formula One wheels with all the knobs and dials and flappy paddles. Like, we are so going and having a play on those, and you're going to experience what a proper race sim rig is like. Because if you're anything like me, you'll never afford one otherwise.
Yeah, and it almost ruins it, right? You're like, oh, I'm never going to have the same experience at home unless you drop, like, and making a whole room dedicated to it.
Exactly. There's so many people on that PlayStation VR video I did where I said I preferred Gran Turismo 7 on the flat screen, saying, what is wrong with you? Why aren't you in a race rig? I don't have £3,000 to drop on a seat, pedals and steering wheel. That's more than my actual car.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a different price range. But hey, if you're looking to save on some games, there's a lot, and there's more than that on sale. I mean, they had a massive list, and the promo runs until the 30th. So you got another week to check out all of those sales, which makes sense. It would run until the end of the month. This one I'm hoping you'll know a little bit more about than me, because I'm not familiar with MegaDeth. I assume it's some sort of metal rock.
They are some very hard rock and metal. Yeah, they have a mascot to rival Eddie the Head from Iron Maiden. And they've been around since the 1980s, very early 1980s. They've got tens of albums. They're constantly touring. They're melodic. They're fun. They're a bit ridiculous. And they're coming to World of Warships. What?
An interesting collaboration, to say the least. I jumped into a party, N7 and some of his Spectres, Half Hung was there hanging out. They were just playing World of Warships. They've got like a PvE section, runs through a couple missions, and they just have fun hanging out doing that. I don't see where this collaboration kind of fits in, but it seems like you can have this cool little commander guy who's a skeleton, You can dress up some of your boats, and I assume they would have the music of the MegaDeth.
You'd maybe think so. You'd hope so. They've had collaborations in other games. They've always been in the more mobile side of gaming. So World of Warships is available on all mobile devices as well as your consoles and your PCs and everything else. They've been involved in Iron Maiden's own mobile game, for example. They didn't have any music there because it's an Iron Maiden game. It's Iron Maiden music in it. But their mascot is fighting against Iron Maiden's mascot. It's like the perfect collision of worlds. That one made so much sense. I'm not against this. I don't understand it personally, but maybe they just like the game and wanted to be part of it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, I can't see any mention of them adding songs. It just looks like, cosmetics. You get these cool little commander guys who are skeletons, so that's got to be fun. But yeah, interesting collaboration. Let's get back to chat here. Are we really talking about hair? So much hate. Come on, David. It's all about the hair. Huh?
You've seen David, though. David doesn't care for his hair. He just lets it grow for a year, then chops it off. He doesn't understand.
Yeah.
He's not a man of culture like the rest of us.
Yes. A man of hair.
A man of hair having, although there's a few others in chat where saying that might hurt their feelings, and I'm not saying it like that for you guys. I'm sorry.
I think that was how many was in their first run 20 years ago. Oh, wow. That's so she's
12,300 for the 20th. Yeah.
Wow, they only made that many. They did not have high expectations.
Well, it was the offcast of Nintendo. They were meant to be partnering with Nintendo for the disc system. It was meant to be the Sony Nintendo PlayStation.
Yes, I've seen this.
The partnership fell through, so everybody knew Nintendo. Nintendo was the household name, especially for gaming. So Sony to come in, these guys who make televisions and computers and cameras and such, what are they doing making a video game console? Thankfully, they made it well, and they made great games for it, and that helped it to take off. But even then, their first run, it was sensible to keep it small, because you don't know how popular it's going to be when you are Nintendo's rejects.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in. But how do you even make money? I mean, that's making consoles at a loss. I would assume you're only making 12,000. But
possibly, yeah. I don't rightly know. There's not a huge amount of information around it. There's a couple of the prototype ones, the actual ones with the Sony and Nintendo branding around in the world. So they now fetch millions upon millions of dollars when they go up for auction or to make videos and such. But yeah, it was a huge risk for Sony, but it's one of those, if they do a small run of 12,000, it's an easy write-off for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So why not give it the risk? Because if it takes off, look where it's put them, top of the world.
Yeah, come to today, 41.7 million PlayStation 5 sold was the last count. Nintendo still doing extremely well, but the software on both is extremely different. You got one sort of Fisher Price, but different Nintendo.
It's a bit harsh.
Well, I mean, there's colorful characters. You got Luigi's Mansion, you got Yoshi, you got this is the evolution to me of Fisher's Price. Like, yes, Zelda was absolutely amazing in its glory. They have the big IPs, but even that has sort of a childish wash on it, right? You're not sticking your sword in anything. It's
Be
the
careful
most
how and where you say that one. Not sticking your sword in anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like now they've gotten to such a place where they've defined themselves in the marketplace, and if Nintendo wants to be on, that Cowboy and I were talking about it, that Nintendo to Fisher Price evolution. They're doing extremely well and their market's successful. So no knock on them at all. It's just a different marketplace.
They're doing something very right. They're going to take the crown from PlayStation 2 as the best-selling console ever. And hats off. Like, the Switch is a fantastic bit of kit.
Right. It just they won by being so accessible and people buy kids' toys, and kids' toys break, and then you got to buy new ones. I mean, that's. Anyways, speaking, you got to see Rudy Tear in person. It's absolutely epic. I filled that in for him, but yes, it is. I loved the video Cowboy and You. Drove 2+ hours to see him. Yeah, Cowboy's an absolute legend. It was great to see him. No one cares about Metallica kick out. Hey, World of Warships people are probably loving it up, this new fresh expansion to them. And I didn't see it really costing anything. This may be a free expansion. I may be wrong in that, but usually it'll say this DLC costs such and such.
This much on this date sort of thing. Yeah, I've not seen anything
Yeah.
along those lines. So it might be like an event type thing.
Right.
It does say something
Oh,
starting
like an
on
event
August the
where you gotta
29th.
achieve-
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
music
yeah,
event.
it's interesting, but I mean, let's be honest here, FCAT. Metallica sort of didn't even like themselves when they released Saint Anger. It's taken a lot of us a lot of time to come back to the Metallica bandwagon. They betrayed themselves and us. Like, you know this. You know Saint Anger. You know the issues there, right? Right?
We have one that's up your alley, and okay, I gotta say, I was like, this looks silly. And then I watched the trailer, and I'm like,
It looks
why do
amazing.
it looks freaking amazing. Oh my, there's a sword, you can have dual swords, you can have a long two-handed sword, and you're battling, the arena. Like, it looks kind of, this is not how it looks in VR, obviously, but they've got the aesthetic. They're going for it, and you're like, how much fun could that be? I think it would just be endless amounts of fun.
I'm hoping it looks more arcadey than Swordsman. Swordsman is a game that's already on PlayStation VR 2, and you're in a suit of armor, your opponent is in a suit of armor, you try and slice them down with proper blocks and what have you. It's very real-time sword play. And you can have two swords in that. I was like bringing in my Roronoa Zoro moves, like swords over the shoulders, slashing down in a Tiger Fang, the slashing either way and what have you, but that's heavy, that's weighty, that's slow, that particular game. This looks much more like the anime insanity that I really want. I want to feel so powerful with a sword in either hand, just slicing through foes. It looks right up my street, and it's got like a 30% discount on it if you pre-order. I just don't know whether I want to pre-order it, because I don't know if I'm going to like it enough, but it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm very, very interested in this particular game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not at home and my internet never likes to work, but it looks really cool. There's a lot going on there. Having that duel, is it only PvP or can you just fight hordes of PvE? I would assume they would just let you fight PvE and it wouldn't be constant matchmaking.
I would hope it's a bit of both. Swordsman that's out already is both. You can go through like a PvE campaign, different battles, different types of foes, different abilities, or you can go straight online and start facing people there, and you can choose all different sorts of accelerators and buffs and debuffs and that sort of thing. So I'm hoping this would be similar. It would give you that sort of freedom of how to play. But even if it is just online, it looks stupid and ridiculous enough to be one of those great, fun online experiences.
Yeah, there we have it. There's the blocking, sword slashing. This guy's even got a shield in one of the animations, so there's a lot of customization. Feel the impacts. This is one of the things I felt was missing when I was playing Oculus 2, is that haptic feedback. So I feel like they've done a lot of work into providing you that in this game.
You can full katana sheath and unsheath and just like that sheath strike. I might be pre-ordering this one.
Just for the sheath action.
Just for the katana action, yeah. I want to feel like a Ronin.
Yeah. So pretty cool. VR, obviously hitting it out of the park. They keep coming up with different IPs. We were talking about the SEAL Team SOCOM game they were releasing as well.
That's out this week. Yeah, that's both of them. So you've got Firewall Ultra and Sierra Squad. They're both out this week, and I'm trying to make my mind up as to which one I lump for before payday, or just wait until after payday and get both of them. VR is destroying my bank balance.
Yeah. And it's very close to getting to me too. The more I keep talking about it and seeing these awesome software come out, really evolving the playground of gaming. Yeah, I mean, this Broken Edge game just seemed like loads of fun. And yeah, I look forward to seeing more from PlayStation VR. This is one aspect where they absolutely stand apart. They're making these experiences for gamers. They're pushing the boundaries of what gaming is, and they're not afraid to be first. They're not caution to the wind, wait till somebody else does it. They're powering forward. They're like, nope, we're doing PSVR 2. We're not canceling that, and we're going to make awesome software for it.
I've been very nicely impressed thus far. Very nicely impressed. I was a bit dubious about getting the headset. I thought I could end up in a PlayStation Vita experience where I had this amazing bit of hardware, but the software support for it was lacking and terrible. But I've not felt that at any point, even like the first couple of months where I was struggling to get into VR because, well, I needed these things to actually make it worth my while. I can see when I've got the thing on my head now. So when I was going through that whole process, it never felt like a waste of time, a waste of money, because the experiences you were having when you were in there, even up to the point that they were making me feel very sick, like I needed to lie down and pass out sort of sick, I enjoyed it and I wanted more of it. I wanted to overcome that physical roadblock, and the moment I did, these worlds just opened up to me. And I've had an amazing time with VR. I never expected home-based VR to be as good as it has been since I've got my hands on it. Now, I can't speak for the PC VR or the Oculus crowd. I can only speak for the PlayStation VR 2 crowd, because there's experiences on VR 1, not on VR 2 yet. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And from what Wibble was saying about the first generation of it, that was amazing as well. So I'm glad to see the software support that we've had. I'm glad to see it's still strong, that there's new weird and wonderful experiences coming, and I hope it long continues.
Yeah, and I mean, these are all, well, I guess you can't call them exclusives because they may show up on the other VR platforms, but PlayStation's pumping out, some original content here that you
like Firewall, Sierra Squad, Synapse, I think this Broken Edge, and there's a Western shooter one as well I can't remember the name of that looks really interesting. They're all exclusive to the PlayStation VR 2. It might be for 12 months, it might be permanently. I know Synapse is a permanent exclusive. So there is exclusive content that would like trigger you and convince you to go for PSVR 2 as your VR option. And that's good to see. But then there's also that same sort of thing with the meta side of things and the HTC PC side of things. So yeah, there's pros and cons every way you look at it, but this one is the cheapest way to get into VR by far, at least at a very high level.
And it's not just for VR games too. I mean, you could just literally play your PlayStation in your headset, if I'm not mistaken.
You can, yeah. I've currently got it set to be about a 120-inch screen when I sit down and just have it in theater mode. So it's just this giant screen in front of me. Because it's coming through the front USB-C port on the PlayStation, it does 4K 120. I have 4K 120 hertz gaming on the PlayStation 5 because I'm wearing this headset. It's amazing. Like, things look stunning. And I don't have words to explain how good they look.
I know. It's cheaper than monitors. It's cheaper than the End Zone. And so you start to think, I'm like, maybe I should.
Maybe I just play that way, just put the headset on.
Thanks for stopping on by. Hope you're doing well, good sir.
Good to see you, Crow.
load, but reload was the down spiral. Ooh.
Yeah, fair play, FCAT, fair play. I'll give you that one. Back to Metallica with that quote, that comment.
FCAT is a metal rock person. Interesting.
There's many of them in this little
I didn't
community.
know it was a metalhead.
We metalheads are everywhere. My neck can't take the head banging like it used to anymore, and I don't have the hair for it like I used to, but...
Oh, I'm coming. I can't wait until Thursday when I become a metalhead in Armored Core. I'm so pumped for it.
Has Devil May Cry not already done that for you?
So Devil May Cry, extremely entertaining, a lot of fun. The characters I didn't understand, like I know Dante, but I don't know this guy with one hand. And then the guy who like walks around who's like on a limp. But you know, I had fun. I think I will go back to that game to finish it off in my lulls. But I'm hugely pumped for From Software's take on mechs, and I watched the whole showcase. Fighting Cowboy absolutely demolished everyone in the PvP. I can't wait to jump in and get some mech action going on. It's such a different flavor of game that I haven't had in so long. You know?
Need to get you into the Gundam series afterwards.
Yes, I remember watching that show as a kid, and it was like such a long. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is happening? Like, this is so interesting every episode, but nothing ever comes to a conclusion." I'm like, "How do they keep?"
The latest game is like
hanging.
There's no cliffhangers in the latest game. It's like an arena hero shooter. It's like Overwatch, but done right.
Yeah,
it works.
Oh, wow.
It's not got missing PvE or anything like that, and it works really well. They do make very good games for the Gundam series.
Ron's pleasure. Baldur's Gate on Stadia definitely does not work. But I like the optimism.
Let him have his moment. Let him believe it. It's just doing nobody any harm.
That was the first place I did play Baldur's Gate 3. However, it will not be the last. EA Sports NHL 24 hits PS5 and PS4 on October 6th. Listen,
Hockey!
Just again,
Woo!
live service these games. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Like, what are you literally adding? New gameplay features revealed, plus Colorado Avalanche defenseman Carl Malkar named cover athlete. Like, I assume they just do it for the cover athlete. I don't even know at this point. It's like
it's the same thing we said about Call of Duty earlier.
Yes.
People will buy a new game every single year. They will buy all of the microtransactions within that new game, and then 12 months later, they will repeat the process, even though, especially in these sporting games and like FIFA or FC football, as it's called now, because they've lost all of the FIFA rights. They're exactly the same game year on year with a minor tweak or a minor tweak. Now and then, like every 5 or 6 years, you'll see a quantum leap in them. But otherwise, it's the same game. And yeah, I would agree. Like over-the-air updates, live service it, just have the microtransactions, have it as a free-to-play, get loads more people on board. I think they'd make just as much money, if not more. But they can sell the game and have the microtransactions as well, and they all make a shed ton of money. So, you know, why would they stop? Why would they do it a different way?
Look at this one. Modernize presentation. That's not a new feature. We made the game look a little bit better. Like, come on. World of Chell, that's a game mode. Hockey Ultimate Team, that's a game mode. And updated human goalie controls. Okay, listen, I've played NHL. You don't want to control your goalie. That's a headache. Anyways, Tim Hortons, shout out to Canada. Hockey's a big part of it. Nothing wrong with hockey, but to be honest, it lends itself to live service. I can't wait till we get there. And I wouldn't buy it full price, man. This is the same thing with Modern Warfare. A couple months, it'll be half off. Or literally, they gave us NHL 2023 a couple months back.
Yeah.
So
it
is what it is.
I get it. Also, we don't get that much ice hockey over here, so I don't know what I'm looking at half the time.
Yeah. If you're, oh wow, we're already at the top of the hour, so I'll try and get through this stuff. We have. So I tried to look into this. This was a little bit confusing to me, but I think I've got a handle on this. The first Descendant is a third-person looter shooter. Its open beta will be available on PS5. And it's going to be crossplay, and that's going to be available September 19th. But the game is not released yet. It's going to be released in 2024, is the current announcement. So if you want to jump in from September 19th to 25th, apparently it'll be open and crossplay, which I think is absolutely amazing if you want to get a taste of this. The game was built in Unreal Engine 5.1, so they're able to give you 60 FPS 4K.
It looks great. I'm worried about it because I've seen gameplay from previous betas and it looks so slow to get into. When you've got mad magical things like this, give people the mad magic straight off the bat. By all means, build on it later, but give them the mad magic straight off the bat. When you're putting them in a world of this mad magic, crazy movement, and all of this swinging around sort of stuff, and it's clunky and difficult to use.
Oh, fine. Love that.
It turns people off it, but I hope the open beta gives people a proper taste of this, and I hope that the final release doesn't almost cripple you at the start of the game, because there is a huge potential here, and I'm very interested. I might be jumping into this open beta on September 19th, because I think it'll be worth it. Even if it's just to say, no, I don't like it, and it's not worth buying for me, it's worth jumping into the beta just for that sort of yes or no scenario.
Well, I think we're coming to see the evolution of games. Everything nowadays really should be coming out new, built on 5.1. And I'm really looking forward to see how this looks and plays, because I remember playing Fortnite for the first time when they upgraded their engine to Unreal 5, and it blew me away with how it looked and felt. So, to me, this looks like Outcasters, right? But it looks like Outcasters and Destiny had a baby, and it looks exciting to me.
It's got a bit of the Warframe feel to it as well in the movement.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different live person looter shooters being brought together here, like you said, with your Outriders, with your Destinies, with your Borderlands, with your Warframe. I hope they've melded it well, but we shall see in just under a month.
Yes, sir. So keep your eyes out for that. First Descendant. This awesome looking third-person looter shooter. Open beta. So I assume that's free when they say that. Open beta.
Yeah. Beta tests are always free. Or they should always be free. Let's not talk about xCloud or MWare or any of those things.
Yeah. Oh, right. Because I saw that the other game we were looking at, Modern Warfare, if you pre-order it, you get access to their beta beforehand. And it's like, that's the only way to get access to their beta.
So there will be an open beta for that one. But you get like 3 days early access if you pre-order the game. So you get 3 additional days playing it prior to release.
These last two stories I wanted to touch on, but every time I open up PlayStation Life, I feel like some of these news pages are like, shut my computer right down. So I just wanted to go over this brief study. It was a small sample size of only 3K people, but what it did was it showed that when people experience multiplayer games and they have those negative impacts, negative people, toxic behavior right off of the bat, it turns them right off to multiplayer, turns them right off that game, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to a single player game after that. So my main message here for after reading this study is, just be kind. So easy. If you see somebody in multiplayer, if you're listening to us now, try to be kind first before being toxic, because let's not scare too many people off here. Let's try to be good people.
By that we mean shoot them in the face very hard, then teabag their body and run away.
Yeah, that's the majority of people. That's they're not coming back. So,
It's got to that
yeah.
point with online gaming. If that's all that's happening, you can't get annoyed at it. Teabagging is part of the zeitgeist now. It's part of online gaming, especially in a PvP scenario. Like Wibble and I have done it to players in Ghost of Tsushima. We had an amazing comeback. They were absolutely destroying us. We came back, we beat them, and the camera comes onto your character at the end of it. So you've just got two ghosts just teabagging. Like it's one of those it has to be done, and you can't get annoyed at teabagging. It's if there's other stuff with it. It's the toxic messaging. It's the nearby speech like you get in Warzone and such like that, where people are just violent and horrible for the sake of being violent and horrible. And some of it comes from the streaming side of things. Streamers have been trying to come up with new content to keep these multiplayer games interesting. I saw a clip the other day of a guy, he killed a kid in Warzone. The kid was like, oh no, please, I've only just got on, I haven't got long to play. So he healed him, then knocked him back down, then healed him, and he did this 4 or 5 times and then knocked him off a cliff and just ended his game session. And you could just hear the kid being absolutely distraught. That's not cool, but that's partly where it's come from, and then people will try to emulate that. It's from the top down. Like you guys in the public spotlight, you need to be better about it. Yes, look for new ways to keep people engaged, but not at the expense of others. And us who aren't at the top end of it, just do your teabagging and move on.
A little bit of different messaging, but the main intent is the same. Be kind at the root of your intentions. I'm saying flat out, just be a nice person. Maybe, get that guy onto your squad, make him a part of it, get him wins, get him upgrades and stuff. Then he becomes your, part of the community. But Dorgon,
but you're Canadian. You're Canadian. I'm English. We have different views on the world.
And the last after that, I'll just go over the last bit of news here after my PSA here. So Immortals of Avium was released, and this is what I'm talking about. Released on 5.1, and we're getting 60 FPS. I think this is the key aspect here, is when we're starting to see this new generation of games built on Unreal Engine 5.1, the 60 FPS option just seems to be easier for these developers to achieve. It doesn't seem to be the consoles that are holding anything back from me looking at this. In my perspective, it seems to be the software and these people building the games that are not building it on the right stuff or the most current gen of software that we have. What would be your
There's a multitude of reasons as to why things aren't being optimized. Some of it's going to be the development studios. Anything made by Ubisoft, anything made by Bethesda, it's going to be an unoptimized mess. Always has been, always will be. You sort of know that one going in. The problem is when you get like massive swings in quality from the same developer, same publishing house. So like this year we've had from Square Enix, we've had both Forspoken and Final Fantasy 16 on the PlayStation 5. Final Fantasy 16 was a much more stable, much better overall experience, but it very rarely hit 60 frames per second. It was running at sort of 45 most of the time. And again, I'm talking from like naked eye viewpoint here, right. But I could tell it wasn't hitting 60 and it was dropping regularly. And I felt it drop down near 30 on occasion as well, because that is seasickness inducing, that massive swing in frame rates.
Yeah.
And then Forspoken struggled to go above 30 no matter what you did. It was very badly optimized. So yeah, some of it does come down to the development studios. Some of it comes to the engines they're using. Some of them are old. If you look at Ubisoft, they're still using the Anvil engine, which was originally built in 2007. They've just like iterated upon it for many years, and it's this core engine with bits blobbed on every side to try and make it work. It looks like a bit of a Frankenstein monster type thing now, that engine. And then you've got people like Horizon's developers, Guerrilla, making the Decima engine, which is what Death Stranding runs on, what Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West runs on, what Days Gone runs on. And it's brilliantly smooth, but it's inherently got bugs at the core of it. So yeah, it's very much depends where you go, what platform they're building upon, how experienced they are as a development studio as well. Like, you can't expect somebody out of the gate on their first development to make it run so damn good. But at the same time, you have an expectation when you're spending $70 US, 60 Great British pounds, 90 Canadian dollars on a game, that it actually bloody works.
91 Canadian. Ouch.
Why 91?
I don't know, the conversion, and then I feel like PlayStation has an extra tax. I don't know. They're screwing me.
91! That's absolutely flummoxed me, that, as $91. That's the weirdest number on the planet.
I'm just happy that games haven't pushed 100 Canadian. I'm not looking forward to that day. I'm sure we're getting there, though.
I remember when I was in Australia, 2006, 2007, I remember the games breaking the $120 mark then.
Ooh.
And the outrage that they had. Now, granted, like, conversion rates were vastly different back then. Their games haven't really increased so much since, because the Australian dollar has got that much stronger in the worldwide economy, whereas the rest of us have got weaker. So they're sitting pretty right now. They're still only paying like $130, whereas I've gone up from £30 to £60 in the same amount of time. It's like, ow, that hurt.
Oh, wow. Yep. But it's not all too bad. Armor Core actually came out at a $60 price point. It didn't come out at the $70 full game price, which was an interesting move. It's like you're from software. You could easily charge the full price for that game. But I guess they had this vision when they started making it, and they stuck to it. That would be my thinking going forward.
Would be a very smart marketing decision as well. Putting it out there at $10 cheaper, more people can probably push to affording it. And because there is such recognition with the From Software name and brand, you're probably looking at 5 to 10% more sales by offering it cheaper, and the money that you make back from that is higher than selling it at that higher price, sort of thing. So it could be very good marketing.
The last thing I'll touch on is Immortals of Avium. Like I was saying, this seems to be the new push for software, praising the Unreal Engine 5.1, and it seems like the specs for PC have sort of risen from what I'm typically used to seeing. We now have the minimum being a GTX 2080. That's a new minimum. Typically you would see 1000 or maybe even lower. This is a new bit of games coming down the way, and I think we'll see the PC specs sort of move to the next level as we see games evolve here.
It makes sense. The 2080 is what, a 5-6 year old graphics card at this point. You're essentially a full console generation on in terms of time frames at this point. Moving up to that from a 1080 or 1660 just makes sense, especially when generally developers develop for the lowest common denominator, and that lowest common denominator is more often than not the home consoles. As they've become more powerful, more capable, the lowest PC specs will be brought up. How many games are asking for an SSD now on PC? Ratchet and Clank said it could run on a hard drive. It didn't run very well.
I saw the glimpse.
Right. That's one of those where Nix's Software, the guys who do the PC ports for PlayStation, you shouldn't have said that. Like, you can run it on a hard drive if you want to. Your experience will vary, but recommend the SSD because it's just a vastly better experience for people. There needs to be better wording around things, like the translation from console to PC. But it makes sense. The consoles, the lowest common denominator has got a lot better, so your lowest common denominator on the PC side is going to raise. if you want to stay up to date and run these games.
What up, 809 Lion? What's going on? Thanks for stopping on by. Hope you're doing well. FCAT says it's a very demanding game, but people saying it looks generic and mid-tier. Well, I know there's been some previews released for it. It's Magic first-person shooter. The showcase really showed it to be epic. I think a lot of people are heavy on the criticisms these days, but something built in Unreal Engine 5.1, I'm going to assume is looking pretty.
It'll look good. It'll play good. Yes, I've seen it. I've seen Datto play it, actually. One of the Destiny content creators. He got taken to one of the preview events. He recorded his footage, played it, and he had Jez and Danielle watching along with him. And it did look generic. I can't lie. What Datto was playing, his moment-to-moment gameplay looked generic, but Destiny is generic, and I've been playing that for nearly 10 years, when you think on it. It's just gunplay, the same as any other first-person shooter. Right. Call of Duty is exactly the same when you just look at it outside of some of the top-end players. It's generic gunplay. What matters is how that feels in the hand to the player. If they are happy with it, if you can get that in your hand and you are incredibly happy with how that operates, how that feels, and the engagement gameplay loop, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It matters about what it feels like to you, the player.
And that's a great message to end off today's show. I want to thank everybody for coming on by, hanging out with the Super PlayStation Bros. Dorgon, what do you got going on this week? Any announcements to make before we close out the show? Yeah.
Nothing
Congrats
huge.
to Dorgon.
Thank you.
1,000 subs. Congratulations. Applauso. Be sure to check out his channel if you're catching this on the VOD. And yeah, support Dorgon over there, man. Making some great content. You can check out his newest review on Final Fantasy 16. As well as check him out playing VR, because I don't know how you got that camera set up or how that works, but I love how like you see your body and then it's like the whole thing in the background. I don't know how you're doing it, but it looks epic.
I'll give you an insight. Like, I take my mobile phone, I set it up. I've got like a little.
Yeah.
It's here actually. I've got a little tripod stand that I can put it in. So I get this sideways so it's sitting vertically.
Right.
I plug this microphone into this phone, and I film myself, and the audio going into this. Everything else is recorded directly through the PlayStation. I will then bring the footage together on my phone, and there is, on the KineMaster app I use to edit all of my videos, there is a simple button that removes background on an overlaid video. So I will overlay the video of me playing the game, click remove background. It's a bit sketchy. It's not brilliant because the AI behind it is still learning at this point. It's only been out for about a month in the editing software, and then it'll remove the background and you've got me overlaid over the game playing quite happily. It's just a bit power intensive on the phone, so I tend to use the tablet to do the editing nowadays because it's got that nice Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, which is a beautifully overclocked chip. But yeah, that's how I get my sort of mixed reality VR content out there, and I am doing more of it as we speak for a new video coming up in the future.
Well, awesome, dude. Thanks for letting me in on the trade secrets. But yeah,
there are easier ways to do it, but yeah, that's how I do it.
I stole your announcement. So if there's anything else you'd like to say, go for it.
No, that's been me. Like I say, I'm working on a new video for everybody. If you do want to feel very kind and generous, memberships are live on the channel as well for unique content and further support if you so fancy. And anything extra over and above what's needed for Doragon, I will look at pumping into Super PlayStation Brothers. So that's where your money's going. It's straight back into the content that we make.
Awesome. And I am still on the road. So the next time you'll catch me live streaming will be the Super PlayStation Bros. We'll be back next week. and we'll have something for you. Maybe a little bit different next week, but we'll still be here. We'll still be kicking it.
Because you won't have me next week. So yeah,
No,
maybe
but-
something different.
Maybe a little bit different flavor from the UK. We'll see how we do. But be sure to tune in, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks, everyone, for coming on by. And remember to be
Like,
kind.
comment, sub.
Like, comment, sub, and yeah, be kind and bring peace to the world. Right? So take care and have a good one. Roll credits.
Grove. 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 Why try to believe in me? Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily